Well, Mike, you have Chargers and Raiders, first game on NFL Network this Thursday. Were you expecting this game to be so important at this point in the season?
Yeah, I think most people would expect it to be really important. You know, these teams are so closely matched. You put the tape on and everybody's upset about Phillip Rivers and all the interceptions. I put together Phillip Rivers' interception reel last week. I watched every throw that he made this entire season, and has he made some throws he'd like back? Yeah, he has. Has he made some bad throws? Yeah, but the guy is just so tough and courageous. I mean, you get down like they did on Sunday and come back and have a chance to win a game. He might not be playing at the level Phillip Rivers expects to play at, but the guy's keeping him in every game. So I think this is a race that's going to go down the wire. I really do.
Okay, you said that you put together an interception reel, though. What are you seeing that's different? I mean, yesterday he had his first 3 interception game of his career. What's different this year than what you've seen about him in the past couple of years?
Well, I think what happens is that, for instance, players don't practice all the time. You look at the big three, and how many times have Malcolm Floyd, Gates, and Vincent Jackson been on the field at the same time this year? I mean, not many, right? How often have they practiced together? What about the offensive line? Dealman's been out the last couple of weeks. McNeil's had his issues. There's just no continuity except for Phillip Rivers. And sometimes what happens is I think you try to do too much. And I've seen him throw an awful lot of throws since he was a sophomore at North Carolina State, and I'm the biggest advocate he has in the media as far as what I think he is. He'd be the first to tell me point blank that he's missed some throws this year, and he's not quite as accurate as he has been. He'd like to have some back, but don't count him out. And I mean, Vincent Brown, had 4 or 5 catches, and Vincent Brown, I didn't think he was ready to play in this league, and he threw him open 4 or 5 times. So I give the guy credit, and I'll tell you, from an accuracy perspective, he hasn't been as consistent as he has been in the past.
Oakland Raiders. Speaking of quarterbacks and consistency and interceptions, Carson Palmer is new to that team. 3 interceptions yesterday. What are you expecting from Carson Palmer? New team, new offensive scheme at this point in the season.
Yeah, I discount his first game. I don't really care about those first 3 interceptions. And I was at the Oakland game yesterday, and I charted every throw he made yesterday. And I thought he got better as the game went on. And the key for me, when I look at Carson Palmer's last couple years as a Bengal were inconsistent. He was inconsistent yesterday. When he can stand in the pocket and step into his throw, he can still rip it. He can throw with touch and accuracy. He had an 18-yard fade to Jacoby Ford. He threw a 45-yard touchdown to Marcel Reese. So one where he ripped it, one where he used touch and accuracy. When he has time and the opportunity to step into a throw, he's really good. However, you got to pressure him. You got to get him off his mark. You got to get him, people around him, bodies around him. I'm not convinced with bodies around him he's anywhere near as decisive or accurate a quarterback as when the pocket's open and easy.
How do the Raiders compensate for not having Darren McFadden?
Well, Michael Bush had a big first half. I think he had 11 carries for 73 yards, and then he got shut down in the second half. So I really do believe that they're a pretty good downhill run team with him. And then they bring in Taiwan Jones on occasion, who's a little scat back from Eastern Washington, who's about as fast as anybody in the league. So I think the way they want to compensate is a downhill run game with Bush, and then the occasional mix in of Taiwan Jones. But the reality is Carson Palmer's got to throw the ball effectively enough so they can run it.
Can you give me a prediction for how this game is going to go ahead? Not like a final score, but how do you? This is a team that the Oakland Raiders are a team that came up and physically beat upon the Chargers. They were able to run the football. They had Zach Miller. They had a big tight end the Chargers couldn't cover last year. How do you predict this game to go down on Thursday? Short week for both teams, of course.
Yeah, it's a tough week, and I'm fascinated by the 2 quarterbacks because you've got 2 high-level quarterbacks that one has had some inconsistencies this year. The other's a great story coming over in the last couple of weeks. So I really believe that the more effective quarterback is going to drive where this game goes. Now, if the Oakland Raiders can run the football and they can run it for 4 quarters, it's going to be a long day for San Diego. But I don't expect for San Diego to allow them to run the football consistency. So I really think we're going to get a game that gets into the 4th quarter, and a quarterback's either going to make a big play or a big mistake, and somebody's going to win the game.
Last question in the AFC West, and this year is so crazy. I mean, you have KC beating the Chargers at home, then the winless Dolphins come in and they stun them. They beat the crap out of them. Is this a 3-team race? Is this Chargers, Raiders, and Chargers, Raiders, and Chiefs to the end?
You would think it's a three-team race. I watched Denver beat Oakland yesterday, and Tim Tebow is just a different kind of quarterback, and they would not allow him to beat himself. They took him out of a lot of passing situations, but they ran the ball well enough to win. So I really do believe it's going to go down to the last week of the season. I think it's a quarterback-driven league, and I think you've got some of the most fascinating quarterback stories in the entire league right in this division.
Great. Thank you very much. It'll be a great game on Thursday.
You got it. Thank you.